welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is good, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and thank you for joining me for another Hot 10 breakdown of the week. If you guys aren't familiar with this one, I take 10 of the hottest comics according to the Key Collector app, and I break them down for you guys, letting you know which I'd be buying and for which I'd be staying away from. But before we get started in the video, like always, I want to remind you guys, if you're not a current subscriber of the channel, do me a favor, click that sub button for me, smash that like button, it really helps the channel out. And of course, check out all the new merch I have for sale down below. The link is in the description of every video. Now let's check out the Hot 10 Comics of the Week. Starting off at the 10th spot this week is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man #1 and the second appearance of Spider-Man. This is also the first in his own title. Not to mention, this is the first appearance of J. Jonah Jameson and the Chameleon, and a CGC 7.0 just sold last week for a whopping $33,600, up 12% over that average. Then we also had a CGC 3.5 sale for $11,000, up 5% over that average. Then we had a lowly CGC 1.0 sell for $5,640, up another 5% over that average. You guys know this is one of the biggest books you can buy. A silver each, key to boot, a triple first appearance if you count that first Spider-Man solo series. You guys know I'm always a buyer of this book no matter what. However, I will throw the caveat out there. If you have that type of money to throw around on a comic, why not go after Amazing Fantasy 15? At number 9 this week is a copy of Edge of Spider-Verse #2 and the first appearance of Spider-Gwen, and a CGC 9.6 just sold the prior week for $700, up 18% over that average. You guys know there's only two modern books I want to own right now, this book and Ultimate Fallout #4. To me, I really want to own a 9.8 of this book, not a 9.6, and it's only, I think, around $1,100 or $1,200 right now. I'd rather own a 9.8, but yes, I'm 100% a buyer of this book. Falling to number 8 this week is a copy of Spider-Man 2099 #1 and the first appearance and origin of Spider-Man 2099. Now, I know some people out there think that Amazing Spider-Man #365 is his true first appearance. Regardless, guys, a CGC 9.8 just sold last week for $205, up 37% over the average. You guys know I'm not spending this kind of money on this book. If you can go out and find a nice raw copy for probably about 15 to 20 bucks, that's the better buy. Why spend all the money on this key? It's not going anywhere. Back on the list at number 7 this week is a copy of All-Star Comics #58 and the first appearance of Power Girl, a Kryptonian cousin of Earth 2 Superman, and a CGC 9.4 just sold last week for $550, up 52% over the average. Then we had a CGC 8.0 sale for $220, up 34% over the average. Then we had a CGC 6.0 sell for $100, up only 1% over that average. I always say it when this book is on this list, I'm not spending a high dollar amount on this key. I know a lot of people out there who are DC fans love this character, but for me, I just don't want to spend the money. If I'm going to buy it, I'll spend the $100 on a 6.0 copy. That's the better buy if you want to own it. At number 6 this week is a copy of Star Wars #1 and the first appearance of our favorite Star Wars characters, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, C-3PO, and R2-D2. And a CGC 9.8 just sold the prior week for $4,700, up 9% over the average. Then we had a CGC 9.0 sale for $405, up 13% over the average. Then we had a CGC 6.0 sell for a lowly $183, up 13% over the average. Whenever I see this book on this list, I say to you guys, if you're a Star Wars fan and you want to own the book, just buy it. It's up to you if you want to spend the high dollar amount it's going for on high grade. For me, I just want to own the book. I don't want to spend the money on a 9 or higher copy. It's just not worth it for me, but maybe for you, it is. At number 5 this week is a copy of Green Lantern #59 and the first appearance of Guy Gardner, Hal Jordan's backup Green Lantern, and a CGC 9.2 just sold the prior week for $1,350, up 1% since 2020. Then we had a CGC 8.0 sale for $799, up 55% over the average. Then we had a CGC 5.0 sale for $165, up 1% over that average. You guys know why this book is on this list. Nathan Fillion has been cast as Guy Gardner in the DCU. That's why this book is popping. For me, I don't want to spend the money on the first appearance of Guy Gardner. I just don't think it's worth it, especially when I'm seeing some of these grade point averages jumping around 40 to 50%. Watch out. I don't think it's worth it. Falling to number 4 this week is a copy of Wolverine #1 and the first cameo appearance of Yukio, and of course this iconic cover by the great Frank Miller. And a CGC 9.4 just sold the prior week for $240, up 27% over the average. Then we had a CGC 9.2 sale for $169, up 7% over that average. You guys know I always say, if you want to own this book, buy the book. I just don't think it's worth it to spend all that crazy money on a super high grade 9.2, 9.4. That's really where I want to be, around $200. That's all I'm willing to spend on this one. At number 3 this week is a brand new book to the list. It is a copy of Transformers #1 and the first team appearance of the Transformers, the Autobots and the Decepticons. And a CGC 9.6 just sold last week for only $375, up 14% over that average. You guys remember a couple years ago, this book was absolutely screaming hot and all the nostalgia books were going crazy. This one, Thundercats 1, Voltron 1, to me, I thought it was insanity. Finally, to happen to see this book down at a reasonable price. If you're going to buy it, I suggest owning a 9.8, or else just buy the book in any grade that you want. Just don't overspend, because this is not an investment book. At number 2 this week is a copy of New Mutants 98 and the first appearance of Deadpool, a subject of the Weapon X program. And a CGC 9.8 just sold last week for $1,600, up 5% over the average. You guys know I always say this book, wait for it to come down around $1,400, but you gotta be able to hold on for the long term. I don't see any major pops in this book right now for a really long time, so do yourself a favor. If you really want to own the book, buy in a 9.8 only and just hang on. If you're not willing to do that, stay away. And at the top spot this week for the second week in a row, it is a copy of Ultimate Fallout 4 and the first appearance of Miles Morales. And a CGC 9.8 just sold last week for $2,020, up 5% over the average. Now, I said this over the past couple of weeks, I'm seeing sales from $1,500 all the way up to around $2,000. I'm still waiting for this book to come down. You're going to get that chance. If you want to own the book, just be patient and then you could buy it. But for the long term, I'm definitely a buyer. That's it for the list this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm sorry my voice is cutting in and out. I'm not sure why. So it is now time for my best buy of the week. And whenever we have a huge Silver Age book on this list, that's usually going to be my best buy. And of course, it's Amazing Spider-Man #1 and the first solo appearance of Spider-Man. Anytime I see this book on the list, unless there's an AF-15 on it, I'm probably going to be a buyer of it. Regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.